Okay, so now I'm one screen. I might struggle a little bit. Sorry for that. But okay, so I might not be able to see the questions I know, so let me know if there is anything arises in the mind. Okay, so hi everyone. So my name is Hande Bodart. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Content Hub One. I'm based in Brussels. Joined Sitecore in 2021. I've been working for content management system for a while now, and yeah, I really like the domain and building the product around it. So for today, so I'll give a quick overview for Content Hub One for those who are not familiar, and then go ahead with the two major functionalities, one localization and then the AI in Content Hub One, and also briefly look into what is coming next, what are the plans. So yeah, during the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So I'll try to pause between the topics, but yeah. So Content Hub One, it's Sitecore's pure headless offering. It's a multi-tenant SaaS product. So it's been released in December 2022. And since then, we are in the continuous release cycle. So we've made like 50 releases since then, and yeah, we keep adding functionalities. It's a relatively small team, but yeah, we'll try to improve as we go. And you can see all the updates in Sitecore changelog, which is also based on Content Hub One, and also in the community Slack channel, which is sending as feeds the features coming in. So in a nutshell, I see this. I don't know if you are seeing, I see this thing not going away, but okay. So in a nutshell, Content Hub One as a headless CMS consists of, like, I would say the two parts. One, the content management and authoring part. So this is basically, we have set of APIs, what we call the content management API, to define the content types, the basic structures, which is a REST API together with a media upload API, which you can use either directly or through SDKs and CLIs or Content Hub One UI. Then there is the delivery layer, which is mainly based on the GraphQL API. So we have preview API and a delivery API. So for the non-published content, we have the preview, and the published for the live content, we have the delivery. And again, together with the media delivery API, which is integrated, you don't see it directly, but basically from the delivery or preview API, you would get the links, the media links via the media delivery API. So as it's the headless CMS, so there is no front-end application that is coming together with it, like to build your own website. So the boxes that you see here, so typically the implement their preview apps or the live apps on top of it, basically the head part of their experiences, and they use these APIs to preview or to serve. So it's using various customers. Actually, internally, there's also quite some use. We are one of the first users, not one, the first users of Content Hub One. So the homepage itself is also using an instance of Content Hub One. Like some documentations links that you see, it also comes from Content Hub One. This helps us to understand better from user perspective as well. One of the user groups, user group Germany, is using also Content Hub One to build their site. We have actually created another organization and tenant for a common use. So if you are interested, feel free to contact us. And yeah, you can use that to build if you would like to. Sitecore, again, order cloud documentation site is based on Content Hub 1 as well. And the changelog, you might have used or seen it. So Sitecore's DXP changelog is based on Content Hub 1. So internally, again, the product managers are using it, or technical writers are using it to publish the changes that is coming through for different applications. Another one, our Sitecore design system, which is known as Block. So not fully, but some bits of it, like the what's new part, is again using Content Hub 1, and the plan is to extend further to make the management of that easier. We have also customers. GLP is one of the first one that they made implementation. So that it's their website is based on that. If I'm not wrong, it's multi-language as well. And there are actually 4 different websites that are using Content Hub 1 to serve the DIRIA Gate Development Authority sites. And these are also in multiple languages as well. Yeah, these are the different ones, so you can see. So that's Content Hub 1. If there is no questions so far, I can jump into the localization. So localization is one of the weighted core functionalities of a CMS. So we've been working on it for a while. So I want to first explain what kind of localization implementation we decided to do, to give a bit on the context on that, and then do a demo for the upcoming functionality. So as you know, for localization, there are different approaches. So some CMSs do this field level localization. So you have one single entity, and within that entity, you can, for certain fields, you can decide which ones are localized, and if they are localized, then you would see that field multiple times, so you can manage all the variations in the single document. The other, this is basically the example here. The other approach is what's we call the entity level localization or item level localization. So basically, the whole entity exists in a given locale. So you see this in example, this hotel, it's now in EN US locale. But then if you go for more entity level localization, then you would have another variation of it for that locale. We decided to go for this approach. And the reason for this is we would like to give the ability to publish every single locale independently. If we were managing all of the localization as one item and the fields and do the field level localization, then it wouldn't be possible to do the publishing for each locale separately, which is an important one, because imagine you have a campaign for different countries, you might have different launch dates, so you might still use localization, but then launch them in different times. So that's why, or maybe for some reason the translation is not ready yet, you don't want to push it yet, so that gives the flexibility of in terms of publishing, and also access rights as well. So you could have maybe only certain people managing certain locales. Not everybody has access to everything. So that makes it makes the separation of concerns more easily. And also if you have many fields on a content type, having them all in one form makes it rather difficult to scale. So from that perspective as well, we chose this approach. I mean, having said that, this is now the main localization approach, but that doesn't mean maybe for some use cases, we might still introduce field level localization, but we think this is the the main approach that will cover most of the requirements, but yeah, for some cases we might still consider in the future field level localization as well. So, of course, if you look into between field level localization and entity level localization, so the nice thing about the field level localization is you see everything together and you have by default the concept of shared fields. So what is not localized is already there at once, and you change one and it changes for all your locales. So we are planning to cover this with the introduction of shared fields. So let's say I have this, again, hotel example. I have French version. I put labels wrong, but so I have one side the French version and the other side the US version. So let's say I want to translate the title, but I don't want to translate the hotel type. It's the metadata. So for this kind of needs, in order to make the management easier, we are considering to introduce a concept like shared fields, where you can update it in one, maybe, or only update it on your, main item, and then the changes reflected everywhere. Then the next evolution is the fallbacks and the settings we considers around the fallback. So typically, let's say you have this page, a landing page in EN US, and you would translate to FRFR. But for FRB, let's say you don't want to translate. So, or in some cases, let's say you will translate, but not all. So in this case, you might want to fall back to FRFR. So the idea is, so what we foresee is to also introduce a fallback mechanism where you can, the content is, where you can set up for locales what are the fallback and accordingly retrieve the data on the delivery and preview layers. However, this fallback mechanism might not work in all the cases. There are some specific cases where you don't want to use the fallback. Let's say you're 90% of the cases, the fallback would work, but what if, let's say I'm creating a page for our contents for privacy policy. That will be highly different from one locale to the another. So the customers might not want automatically to fall back to happen. So that's why we are also considering to introduce, the ability to configure at the content level whether you want to enable or disable the fallback. So here is the privacy policy example. So let's say you translate it to FRFR, and for FRBE, if fallback is there, you will automatically get to FRFR, which is, when it comes to things like privacy policy, could be rather dangerous. So that's why what we want to do is to disable the fallback. How? To introduce a setting like this. So at the content level, so let's say you created this EN US, and when you created this, like the primary content, you could say, decide whether you want to use the fallback or not. So you could say, no, I don't want for this one. By default, maybe it's enabled for everything. There could be other cases where, let's say, you're on a global site, but you created regional content. So let's say normally EN US is using EN GBS fallback, and Canada is using EN US as fallback. So that was, let's say, your setup. So imagine you want to create a regional content that you want only available in Europe countries. So if fallback is always there, so then there is no way for these content to be, removed. So it will automatically come for US and Canada as well. So what we are thinking is this might not be flexible enough. So that's why, to prevent this, we are considering to introduce another setting where you define, again, at the content level, whether you restrict the locales that you want to launch this content. So then you will be able to decide, so for which local variants this will be enabled. Yok, yarım saat. Sorry. Yes.
Welcome to this session.
So in this case, you say, okay, I want this content only available in these 3 locales and nothing else. So in this case, you kind of block the fallback mechanism. So that's how we think we can, further fine tune fallback and cover, also some, let's say, exceptional cases. So that's, the idea behind localization. So we have the basics of entity localization in place. So I will demo you that part. We haven't, so what we want to do is a bit of a gradual release. So in the first version, which will be coming soon in a couple of weeks, I expect it to be there. We are doing more like the final testing. But the shared fields and fallback, so we already have this in our plans to launch, but in the first version, we will launch without the shared fields and fallback so that we can get feedback more quickly and see the usage as well. So let's jump to the demo. Okay, so I will first delete this so that we can start from scratch. So this is a new tenant. So I'm now doing in a lower environment. Again, soon you will have available for the production as well. So this is a new tenant. There is not much content in it. So this is how it comes when we start, when we create a tenant. So from the settings, when the localization is enabled, you will have the option to set up your locales. So by default, there are no locales. So you can, if you decide to go for using localization, then you need to add locales. So here, let's say from Belgium. So let me add Belgium and then add the locale. Okay, so now I added these 2 locales. So now localization is enabled. So what does it mean? So the moment I enable this, I will see a locale dropdown, and there will be locale filter also, locale filter available, and we'll also see the locale column. So now when I create a content item, so I'll have the option to define which locale I want to create to. If you already have sites set up where locale is not used, you can also not select a locale, which will still be an option. But then, if you want to go for a specific locale, then you can select that as well. So now let's create this. Let's say this one. Let's put a title for a part. And I'll do I'm creating. So you would see there will be new metadata about your content item. So you see what its locale is, and we have this differentiation called primary and non-primary to decide what is the original, like the source content. So we on purpose did not make a single locale as the starting point. So because, yeah, in many CMSs, so one locale is always like your starting point, your default locale. We are not tying it to that because let's say you are running a global application. Most of the time you will have one locale where you start your content operation, but many times it's also possible that you have like country-specific content. So for that, there is no need to go and start from another country. You can directly create for that specific locale and then do the localization only for that part. So that's why this is not enforced by the system, but you can see which one is the primary, also through filters and all. So I create this. So now my main item is created. So you will see again on the right side, a localization panel is coming up. So using this, you can add localization. So right now, other than NL Dutch Belgium, there is no other locale. So that's why that one is only coming up. So maybe I can go and add one more locale to make them more interesting. So let me add, let's say, German. Or we can add, let me add Greece. Most of our team is in Greece. Okay, so I go here. So now if I go to my NLE, I will see that when I add localization, I have more options because I added those locales as well. So now I can create the German version as well. So from here, I can easily navigate different variations of the same. So it copies automatically the one from NRB, but I can go and change it for the selected one. So now let's say this is the one for FRBA. I update this and let me put it also in the title so that we can see it here. So you will be able to filter here. So now, for example, if I say this, it will only bring the French Belgium. So you can filter the ones that were created before that didn't have the locale, which you can also localize, by the way. So you can go to here. Let's say you had your content set up where localization was not there, but now you want to use localization. So that any other, then you can go and add your localizations to it. So we treat the ones that didn't have the locale in the same way. Just in terms of filters, it comes without the locale. So you can also see in the more filters, whether this is a primary content or not. It comes up also here. You can filter the ones that are created through regular create flow versus through localization, which are dependent on the primary one. And in terms of structure, so the ones that are created for through localization, they all share the same ID. So if you look into the details, so you will see that this ID is the same across different localization of the same ID. That's how you can link them and see them. So we also try to make the localization process easier for the users, especially for the case where there are referencing. So if, for example, let me check this. So this item has a reference item. So when I try to localize this, let's say to this locale, so it will ask me, you have one reference, but this one is not localized to this locale. Do you want to localize it? I can decide not to now, or I say localize here. Then in this case, when the French Belgium is created, actually, it's not only the main item, the locale version is created, then also a locale version for the child, the reference one is also created. So yeah, that's how we consider to make the localization process easier. So this is also supported via CLIs and SDKs as well. So together with the functionality, we will be launching that. So very briefly, so we are extending. So I'm already connected to that tenant. So before you would call in the CLI, I don't know if you are seeing easily, maybe. I'll make it a bit bigger. Okay, so before you would use these commands to serialize the content items. So for a specific type, you could, let's say, get all the IDs, and that will download. Okay, so just a second. So it downloads my content items under this sample article folder, and you see these two is downloaded. So this is what I would see. And now we are extending all the commands that are about content items with the locale parameters. So you will be able to specify a specific locale. So for example, we had used NLB as a locale. So if I do that, then I download only those specific content. Or I can, so in this case, so let me go to my folder. You see now NLB is edit. So the same item in NLB is edit. And in terms of structure, the ones that doesn't have locale comes at the root level. But the one that doesn't have the locale comes, that has locales goes on the relevant locale folder to make the navigation easier. So you can also do this. So use like star to get all the locale variations, and then you will see, okay, which one goes to which folder. So yeah, then you can navigate to the relevant one and push. So that works for basically for all the content related outputs. For example, this one is to push to publish them. So you can also use that by specifying a specific locale or all the locales. And if you don't specify, we use it for the ones that doesn't have locale, so that the existing integrations functionalities works as today. In a similar way, we can also filter. I have to create my API key. So let me create an API key for this. So okay, so I'll copy it here. So the deliver part is also extended to support localization filter. So I'm now showing from preview. So we can ask, okay, give me all the, let me double check if the square is correct based on the data structure. So yeah, so now this brings, because I didn't pass any locale parameter, it will bring the locale that does the items that doesn't have locale, like today. And when now the localization is enabled, so if I will be able to say, okay, bring me the one of FRB. And when I see this, so it brings the one, you see that for example, the item that I localized. So it brings the one of that locale, and it also drills down for the references as well. So if the first one, the parent one brings the FRB, then it will also bring the child of FRB. So that's localization in a nutshell. So yeah, as I said, it's coming soon. Follow the changelog. Hopefully in a week or two should be there. Any questions for this part?
This is great. I think I had question, but I think you answered all. Like, you know, you had a question about the API, whether that like localization are fully supported in the API.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah. Also in the rest, you will see that's also what our front end is using. But yeah, all the filtering and all of that is also supported there.
Okay. That's great.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you actually, Hande, can you do something? Can you like, you know, press on your brightness key? Maybe the one that's showing up in the middle will go away.
I don't know why it is happening. I'm not, I don't know. It just doesn't go away. That also,
Okay.
I know.
All right. I think we are good.
Just keeps up. I am not sure. You know,
It's okay. It's
yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Just a time check. I
Yeah.
think we have started a little late, but yeah, we have 15 minutes more. But if you want to take a little bit more time, that's okay, I think.
Well, if it's okay for everyone, I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the other parts are less. Localization is a bit of a complex topic. That's why I wanted to explain it different. But the
Yeah,
others,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, cool. And then let's look into AI. So if you have been using or following, we have been already releasing some functionalities. So I want to just give a bit of a recap and then just mention what we are planning next. That's an area that our team really is interested. Also, the team joined the hackathon. Yeah, we were the winners of the hackathon for Sitecore. So yeah, I really like the topic. So we started with the text field generation and fine tuning. So for individual text, you can use like make it shorter, longer, or create a text based on a given text, for example, based on a given prompt. So that's been already available for a while. Then we extended that with the content generation. So you can actually create a full content giving a prompt. So based on your data model, then it would fill in the data. I think that's great for if you are creating demo stuff or drafting directly. So that's quite useful. And then we expanded that even further, and we can now create content types using the prompt. So instead of manually putting all the fields, so you can get the draft by using the prompts and then fine tune from there. And now that we are introducing localization in parallel, we're also working on making text field translation. So this is ongoing, and hopefully either together with localization or right after, we will be also enabling this feature. We are thinking to also extend that at the content level, so not only a single field, but for the whole content. So we like the phased approach, so that's why, yeah, we want to make small improvements and learn from that and add more. So yeah, that's the under planning, and the other one is not related to translation, but for content type generation, we are considering to generate a content type from a design. So instead of giving the prompts, or instead of only giving the prompt, inputting, for example, the Figma export, and then asking AI to create the model from that. That can also boost up quite a bit. the modeling process. Other ideas are there, things like starter template, bulk actions, taxonomy creation. I think this will keep going. So this is for us an ongoing stream that will keep adding functionalities as we go. Yeah, that's always, I would say, in the roadmap that we have. So a quick look on what is there. I can show one here. So some of these are already in production, but let's maybe start from the content type. So basically the whole flow, we can, let's say we create a blog post content type. So now you have this option to say, do it from start with AI. So you can fine tune, you can use one of the existing ones there. So let's say title, body, description. You don't have to give all the details, but you know, the more concrete you are, the better the results are. So, and now AI is building the content type based on the prompt that we provide. So yeah, see, it included the title, description, image, related articles. And then, yeah, it could even set some of the fields like image already proposed as required. Makes sense, but if you don't want, then you change it. It's not created yet, so it's really up to the user to refine and fine tune that. So we have the blog posts, so type. So now let me create a content item for it. So it's let me create it. Okay, I will say in English. Okay, and also create a blog post about, yeah, I mean, I'm being very, very generic, but yeah, as you get more concrete, then it will also provide more to the point. So decided this one, then yeah, you can then go to the field level one, which was the first functionality that we did, and you can then, okay, if there is a grammar mistakes or if you want to make it longer, then you do it at the field level. So that's basically, you can go up from the model till your low level text as well. So, and then, okay, you decide to use it or not. Then let's save this. So as I mentioned, what is coming next? So all these three, it's available already there. So feel free to use it and provide us feedback. So, but together with localization, so now I created the French Belgium, but yeah, the French Belgium is still in English because I copied from that. But now at field level, I can go and see another option, which is translate to French Belgium. So now when I do that, so now I'll get the translated version. So that is, again, following the localization will be also there. So that's our AI track.
So the it looks like AI is used to generate the content model here.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of blog, if I want to, like, you know, create content, I can say news or events.
Anything.
I can tell. Okay, so it's going to generate the content model, field, and everything, and
Yeah.
go
It
from
basically
there.
proposes, so there are two ways to go. You can just even say event, right?
Mm-hmm.
And say generate. So here I'm not specific. So for whatever, I mean, based on, you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
in
can
general,
see
so
that
there
it
is,
actually, it
yeah,
sends that it's event, so it added date and location.
exactly. So,
So, okay.
yeah. But then I can go and be more specific. So I want an event. Then in this case, I'm more using it like I don't want to click all those buttons. And I can say event with title, description, or I don't want description and dates and let's say image and related events.
Mhm.
So when I do that, then I'm being more specific, then it will take that into consideration. So it only put this. So instead of me pushing all the buttons, so it knows typically a title is just short text, date is, date. And so it really helps. And since it is not yet created, so it's drafting more, then you can go and fine tune before you save it.
That's pretty good. Actually, it sends that related events are reference. So it creates the
Yes.
field type that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the others are more around the content specifically. Yeah, it's out there. Feel free to use and try it out. And if you have any feedback, let us know.
So how can we get access to Content Hub 1? Do we have to go through the partner or
I think
like,
so, yes. You need to go to partner. If you are not sure, let me know if I can give you the contacts. But yeah, for partners, for the partners, there is access.
okay. Is there any plan to provide access to the MVPs? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Let me check. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Then, yeah, what's next? Usually this question comes up. So very soon, we have some functionalities that I'm excited about. So I wanted to mention that as well. So this would be even in a week or so. So we are extending our, onboarding and support capabilities with a better help menu and documentation search. We'll also do taxonomy filtering, support more file types. And you've seen in the demo, there was no default locale. So setup. So in order to, you will still be able to create contents in any locale that you want to begin with, but to ease up, if most of the time you always start, let's say, from one locale, so we'll give the ability to set a default locale so that it's selected on your drop-down automatically. That might come maybe not immediately in the first release, but yeah, it can come maybe the plan is to come right after. And then, yeah, maybe. And yeah, then after, this is not an ordered list. And also, yeah, without the timelines at this stage, we are thinking to strengthen the capabilities with more functionalities, more enterprise functionalities. These are the major functionalities that we have in our plates. Some are in progress. Things like multiple environment support to have the ability to have like branching mechanisms. Improve the publishing with more instantaneous. Sometimes, it can take a minute or so, but we want this to be really seamless. So we are thinking some improvements there as well. Versioning, as I mentioned, language fallbacks, webhooks, access rights, as well as more data modeling capabilities, things like JSON fields, custom field types is what we are considering, or more field validation rules. today you can integrate with XM Cloud, but more as an external data source. So we are also considering a more native integration so that it's, easier to, to utilize content pipeline content within XM Cloud. So that's more what we are going to be busy with in the coming months. Before, I still 1 more minute. I still managed to fit in the time somehow. So I can show also what is coming very soon. So the new help menu. So we are changing our homepage. So before here, you had all these documentation options coming up. So we are moving everything under the help menu. And this will include not only the documentation links, so those documentation links are there, so which gives a quick access, but you will be also able to source directly from within Content Hub 1 the Content Hub 1 documentation. So for example, you are not sure about API keys. You have a question about that. So you can see all the documentation from there and then, then jump to that documentation directly and come back. So we want to really make sure that it's a smooth transition between, all the resources and the application. There is also, all the other links. And as we have more resources, we will keep adding here or, make sure that you can easily access to them, either through documentation or via short links here. We already have the what's new, which is the change log. So you can see from within Content Hub 1, what are the things that has changed recently. So, as well as the change log site itself. Support ticket creation is also here. So all the, or jumping into inviting users will be accessible directly from here. And all the pages that has the headers will have that. So even if you are, let's say, in the content list page, it's here accessible. So wherever you are. So we believe that it will help. Other than that, I mentioned taxonomy filtering. In the delivery API and preview API in the graph, there is already the possibility to filter on the taxonomy fields, but that was not available on the REST API and on the UI. So now we are making that available. So as taxonomies are great because it provides a way to tag contents across different types. So now we can leverage that also in search. So for example, here I create one taxonomy called channel, and it has 2 values, web and social media. So now if I filter on web, I have 2 content items coming because these are tagged with, you will see here, it's around, so it has channel web. So now you can see that and filter out across multiple types. Of course, if you want to filter further down, you can use with others. So all the taxonomies that you will have will come up in this list. So again, you can either use within the UI or from the REST API. That's also possible. And if I miss anything from this list, I'm not sure if we have it yet here. But right now this is the types that we support, but we'll extend with more types with audio and video types as well. The documents. So recently we introduced documents like PDF, docs. Now we'll extend to many more so that we can use for different purposes. And the default locale, I cannot show it yet. It's being prepared as we talk. So that is all, I believe. So if you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, otherwise, if not, you can always reach out. Here are my contact details. There's also the community Slack channel specific for Content Hub One. You can also ask questions from there. So it's not only us, also the rest of the community is collaborating from there. A few questions to answer.
Thank you. Does anyone has any questions? We can spend like a couple of minutes here. If not, this is great. Thanks for presenting this to our Sitecore user group, Hande. And thanks everyone for joining our session today. And this is